I didn't even know who he was. When he seen me at the UFC, he came up and shook my hand saying, "What's up to me?" I didn't even know who he was, but then I see him online talking about he'd knock me out in the first round and this and that and this. Well, if you wanted to fight me, you had the opportunity to tell me, like, hey, man, I want to fight you. What's up? Like, that's fake.
Is Terence Bud Crawford capping straight to Ariel Helwani's face?
Have you seen Topuria? Have you seen his fights recently?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Cody got them hands.
Not.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Or is he just trying to downgrade how big of a star Ilia Topuria is, my friends? First of all, as you guys know, Terence Bud Crawford just took care of business and became the 3-time undisputed champion, beating Canelo Alvarez. During these weeks, Ilia Topuria on September 6th decided to drop the first picture of him and Terence Bud Crawford shaking hands. Now, it kind of looks like Terence Bud Crawford was the guy who went up to Ilia Topuria in this picture just by the angle that it's looking at. But Terence Bud Crawford just said he didn't even know who that guy is. And Ilia Topuria was the guy who walked up to him.
I didn't even know who he was. When he seen me at the UFC, he came up and shook my hand saying, "What's up to me?" I didn't even know who he was.
Which is a little weird if you ask me. Because if he's the guy who's going up to Terence Bud Crawford and acting like a fan, shaking his hand, this and that, why would Ilia Topuria a few days later come out with a tweet saying that he'll knock him out, my friends, in a boxing ring? All right? Wow. Because of him saying those tweets saying, oh, I'll knock Terence Bud Crawford out in the first round, during the press conference of Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, one of the media outlets asked Terence Bud Crawford about this situation, and Crawford decides to call him a drunk and says, man, that boy's just a drunk. Him and all the UFC fighters, you know them, they be drinking all the time, just a bunch of drunks.
Topuria says that if you guys ever boxed, he would knock you out basically the first punch.
That dude drunk, Hey, a lot of MMA guys, they drink a lot, so he must have been on that alcohol that day.
And then comes the fight. You got Terence Bud Crawford walking out to Ilia Topuria's walkout song. So Ilia Topuria comes out with a tweet and says, first you call me a drunk, and now you want to walk out to my song? But on the Terence Bud Crawford and Ariel Helwani podcast, he explained that he doesn't even know who Ilia Topuria is. He's never seen him fight before, and he didn't know that that was his song, and that had nothing to do to go his way.
Honestly, you walking out to his song, did you not know that that was the song he always walks out to?
To be honest, I never even seen this dude fight. I ain't even gonna lie.
But the reason why I say is Terence Bud Crawford lying because Ilia Topuria just dropped some more tweets on us today. And in one of them, he says, that's funny. Because I can remember the first time that we met, you told me good luck for my fight that weekend. Right? Informing that, how would Terence Bud Crawford, why would he say that in the first place? Oh, good luck on your fight this weekend, man. If he doesn't even know who Ilia Topuria is, or ever watched one of his fights. Then, Ilia Topuria drops a video of the Nauk Bros interview with Terence Bud Crawford, where Kyle's sitting down with Terence and asked him, have you ever seen, or who do you think is the best boxer in the UFC? Have you ever seen Ilia Topuria fight? And that's when Terence Bud Crawford brings up Cody Garbrandt and says that Cody Garbrandt has the best boxing in the UFC. And then Kyle says, have you ever seen Ilia Topuria fight? And Terence Bud Crawford says, yeah, but Cody Garbrandt, this and that, this and that.
Who do you watch in the UFC that you think has the best boxing?
My guy, what's his name?
You seen Topuria's? Cody Garbrandt?
Yeah, he the best. He the best UFC boxer.
Have you seen Topuria? Have you seen his fights recently?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Cody got them hands.
Not.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Ilia Topuria posting this tweet, I don't think it has that much receipt power Because Terence Bud Crawford said, yeah, but Cody Garbrandt is the best boxer in the UFC. Just off of that, we know for a fact that Terence Bud Crawford is lying straight to Kyle's face about seeing Ilia Topuria fight and comparing him to Cody. Because Cody, who in the goddamn UFC would say, if you've watched UFC before, who would say Cody Garbrandt has the best boxing in the UFC? Somebody who's never watched UFC before. Honestly, who would say that? It would be somebody that probably watched the UFC 7, 8, 9 years ago and doesn't even know what to say when he's asked with the question, who are some of your favorite UFC fighters? So, I kind of do believe Terence Bud Crawford when he says he doesn't know the guy, but at the same time, it is kind of hard to believe. Terence Bud Crawford talks about being a wrestler, talking about being in MMA. You're telling me that not one time you're scrolling through social media or any of that, Ilia Topuria has never popped up on your YouTube or anything? Now, I'm not saying that, oh, it should, because when he talks about Ilia Topuria and Conor McGregor, he says that he doesn't want to fight Ilia Topuria, that the fight's not going to happen, because how much am I going to get paid? Right? And Ariel says, oh, well, you make a lot of money. I mean, Ilia Topuria is the biggest star, kind of like Conor McGregor was the biggest star when he fought Floyd Mayweather. And Terence says, yo, hold up. Don't even try to compare these guys. And I understand where Terence Bud Crawford is coming.
Tell me how much I'm going to get out of fighting him.
Well, I know Floyd made a lot, obviously, to fight Conor.
He's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real. Stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Conor was here. He's here. Like I said, I don't know this guy.
Because Conor McGregor was truly more of an outgoing guy than Ilia Topuria. Sure, Ilia Topuria just pulled off the 3 greatest victories back to back to back. Right? Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Charles D. Bronx Oliveira, all by KO. 2-division world champ. You guys, this is starting to get crazy, and what I felt like was the end, that Terence Bud Crawford telling Ariel Helwani that, yo, you know, tell that kid just to good luck on his career and this and that. It felt like this fight is never going to happen. Terence Bud Crawford absolutely has no interest in fighting a guy like Ilia Topuria because, you know, he's not the most famous guy. Honestly, if I go to any one of my works over here, I ask my grandma, I ask anybody that I talk to, anybody, my mom or anybody, have you ever heard of Ilia Topuria? Nobody has ever heard of Ilia Topuria unless you're a UFC fan. But I disagree with him when he thinks, like he's thinking that he's not going to make a lot of money off of this fight. Ilia Topuria is the biggest UFC star that there is right now. And if you set up a boxing fight with him and Terence Bud Crawford, it'll be the boxing world and the UFC world. It's not just this guy, oh, Ilia Topuria, not that known of a guy in the UFC. This is a fighter who every single UFC fan will pay to watch. So if you bring those worlds together, maybe not right now, Terence, but Ilia Topuria might get to that level. Which is crazy, you guys. What's going on with them is absolutely breaking news. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about that I thought was absolutely insane. Now, this is the controversial topic. Shakur Stevenson just got on with Ariel Helwani yesterday, my friends, and said he believes Terence Bud Crawford can come to the UFC and beat most of the fighters, that he'll go in there and knock Ilia Topuria out. Even in the UFC. Forget about boxing, he said. He thinks Terence Bud Crawford could go in there and knock out Ilia Topuria.
Especially if you're talking about getting in a boxing ring with him, bro, you're not going to last more than one round, I don't think. But you better off saying UFC. Like, Bud is a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the UFC and beat the shit out of some guys too, because he got a great wrestling background. I done seen him wrestle real wrestlers, like real wrestlers on some everyday shit. So I got to be honest with you. I think that I don't know. I think that dude's just different.
You think he could beat him in MMA and in boxing? In other words,
I just wouldn't put it past him. Like I would not think that. I wouldn't be surprised come fight night if they do an MMA fight. If Bud done knocked him out sleep or choked him to death or something like that. I just wouldn't be surprised.
wow.
That is very, very controversial because there's a reason why no boxers ever go fight in the UFC. But boxers do go to fight. But UFC fighters do go to fight in boxing. And it's because it's an easy transition for UFC fighters to be able to just go to boxing and not have to worry about leg kicks, submissions, high kicks, everything. But for a boxer to come to the UFC, that's completely different. Even Terence Bud Crawford on Joe Rogan's podcast talked about he would never fight in the MMA ring. You don't remember watching Muhammad Ali and that one kickboxer dude who was kicking the hell out of Muhammad Ali's legs back in the days? He brings that up with Joe Rogan. So for Shakur Stevenson to say this, I do think Shakur Stevenson is just talking out of that. I think he's a very, very confident kid. Don't get me wrong. He may believe in Terence Bud Crawford that much. He's always been one of Terence Bud Crawford's main believers. He's backed him up this whole Canelo fight. But I do not know what happens. Ilia Topuria has the advantage when it comes to an MMA ring. You know, Terence Bud Crawford is a great boxer, but you can't use that boxing style in an MMA ring. You will get the leg kicked out of you. You have to square up more. Instead of fighting, you got to square your body up more and get ready for takedowns. Get ready for knees that somebody's trying to take you down. Get ready to sprawl. It's a completely different style. Now, Terence Bud Crawford does have wrestling experience. He wrestled in high school, and when you watch the videos of him, he actually got skills. Don't get me wrong. He's got a lot of skills. But he talked about the leg kicks with Joe Rogan. And we all know one good leg kick can make your boxing go completely south, my friends. And especially with boxers who like to put a lot of, that weight on their back on their front foot, my friends, as they're exploding in. It's an easy takedown. It's an interesting topic to talk about, my friends. I absolutely love it, man. Now, is Ilia Topuria being fake when it comes to this Terence Bud Crawford beef? Is it true that he is just clout chasing, my friends? Is Topuria just out here trying to clout chase during one of the biggest fights that we had? I don't know, man. All I gotta say is it doesn't seem like the fight is gonna happen. But Ilia Topuria posting those receipts today, I sure do love it, man. I sure do love it.